in just so much. I haven't heard him in a little while, to be fair. Have you got I can't remember the other stuff that you wanted to speak of. Have you got any other things you want to speak about? I've got a UK police clip that I want to watch.
Yes, I've also got a clip here of these migrants in Spain, fortunately robbing a group of girls, a group of young white girls, obviously. Now, they were walking in Barcelona when a gang of migrants robbed them. So we can have a little look at this video. Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, well, that's what these suicidal, empathetic women are voting for, unfortunately. And again, you're seeing that. That is, quite frankly, shocking, but not surprising. Whilst we've got our battles here, I would say mainland Europe is in a worse position than us, which, again, just shows you everything that you need to know. And again, I don't want to put this onto the women at all. Ladies, and we've got a lot of women that watch this show, and if they watch this show, then of course they've got the right political views, but it is mainly young women that are voting these sort of far left governments into power. I spoke about Zach Palensky and his almost rise recently in terms of 18% of the country. They're currently second in the most recent polls. Second, 18% are voting in favour, if it was a general election called tomorrow, voting in favour of the Green Party, led by Zach Palensky. And if you dive into this guy, my goodness me, he's quite shocking. I mean, yesterday he came on to Sky News and said that he wants to get rid of our nuclear weapons.
Smart guy.
But, right, and then also went that he's going to negotiate with Vladimir Putin so he gets rid of his. What an amazing idea. I mean, I can't believe no one ever thought about that. Yeah. Just calling up Vladimir Putin and just saying, can you get rid of your nuclear weapons, please?
Yeah, you mind just like getting rid of your deterrent against nuclear warfare. But he's not talking about this with the US, right? So
No.
Yeah. Tell you what, mate. You know, the US, yeah, they can have all theirs, but you get rid of yours because that's good for the world. Interesting decisions there. I don't want to like sort of talk down on sort of how women vote, but what I will say is they take a lot of emotional factors into consideration, and they also have this kind of like group mentalities when it comes to these political opinions.
Yeah.
And they kind of hold each other accountable. Now, if you step out of line, you're sort of belittled within your own group. But men are either sort of too autistic or too high testosterone to care about what other people think about their own opinions.
Yeah.
That's why you see kind of a lot more men on the right. And, I've seen an interesting graph where they're talking about the political leanings of men and women. And men have sort of stayed the same, we've kind of cruised along that sort of center line. But women have gone so far left. And you remember, they're a massive voting force in these countries. And if I was to try and take over a country and try and, take power in the political sphere, the first thing I'd do is radicalize the women using appeals to emotion. And that's the first thing I'd do because it's an easy play. I'm not talking that obviously that there are complete exceptions to this rule as well. There's a lot of women who are on our side.
Of course, the viewers on here, of course, you guys are perfectly fine.
Yeah, and we're seeing like the pink ladies.
Of
that's
course.
a massive movement. Yeah, 100% more power to them. I'm really speaking sort of generalizations here. But what we need to do is make it okay for them to think, the mass immigration in this country is bad. That's an okay thing to think. We can't be saying these like racist and using these sort of identity politics terms against them for their own beliefs. We need to empower women and make sure that they feel like it's okay to have them beliefs.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, as much as you think that it might benefit women, it actually goes against women. Will suffer the most. All these third worlders. And they're coming in, and as I said, not everyone's a freaking rapist, obviously, but the ones that are, they target the women, majority, most of the time. So they're the ones that are going to be in fear for themselves and their safety because they go for easy targets, right? They're going to rob those women like we just seen there. They're going to sexually assault them. They're going to do this. And you're going to be the victim to it. Of course, it was Zach Palensky, where he goes against sort of science and fact. he was on Sky News today. Sky News yesterday, going about the. He was asked about the BBC scandal where they said pregnant women instead of pregnant people, and he said, "Well, trans women are women and trans men are men." Shit bust. So he's going to go down that sort of narrative where you've got them. We're going to go down that route where then if they come into power, they will let these trans men just use their bathrooms, and they're just going to be in the bathrooms with these individuals. They're going to be here, so women are going to feel the full brunt of it, despite them being sort of psyoped into voting this sort of way. Which we need to try and get the women on side and actually see sense, because it's a problem.
I remember a lot of these protests come when these migrants sexually assault women. The men have an innate sort of instinct to protect the women and children of their country. And that's where this sort of plea for deportation comes from. It's not like, it's so low IQ to not like someone just because of the pigmentation of their skin. It's more like the content of the character. So this is where this comes from. Like, it doesn't matter what country, like what you look like. If you are part of a country or from a country that has a much higher rate, we're talking 10 or 20 times higher rate of sexual assaults on women, then of course the men of this country are going to oppose that. That's where it comes from. It's not this kind of low IQ like plea for to keep like the ethnocentrism of our country. That's completely false. It's simply from a plea of protecting our women and children, and that's what a lot of girls need to figure out. Like, we're not doing it just because we're racist or anything like that. It's because we really feel like there was a massive shift in the safety of our women in this country, and we're seeing with videos like this from France.
And that's just, I mean, there's just that. You can get countless examples of that coming up on sort of social media. But Dom, I think we are running out of time, my man. Of course, there's always plenty to talk about. We'll be back Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button and subscribe. And Dom, have you got any final words for us?
Nothing. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Back Wednesday. Have a good one. Peace.
Take a push.